Hey, what, May?
We're doing a little magic tonight.
We'll do a little magic tonight, right? Well, like, I've been on the road with a lot of people, some of the nationally known blues artists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, And, when I'm around town and I like to put together my own groups, I thought of a name. And, to tell you the truth, I think the idea came to me because it was an album, I think it was on Yazoo way back, which the title of it was Piano and Guitar.
Yes, I know that.
You know that one?
Yeah, Piano Guitar Wizard, something
right,
like that.
So the idea stuck with me.
Leroy Carr, I think, was on it.
Mainly because, Ronnie Earl at that time and I were doing some duo gigs.
Oh.
This is back in the mid-'80s, sometimes when he wasn't playing with his band. And so we do some stuff together. And sometimes it involves some other musicians. So we decided to call it the Blues Wizards. And, of course, the personnel has changed over the years depending upon who's around and, who we're playing with and all that stuff. But the name is kind of stuck, and it has a kind of catchy, cachet to it, I guess.
David Maxwell, you've been playing piano around the Boston area for a while. I think the most recent stuff that I've heard that is just fantastic is you and James Cotton. And he's one of the people that you were in his band for a while as well.
That's right. I was in his band the late 70s when Matt Guitar Murphy was in his band, who later achieved fame on a wider scale with the Blues Brothers. And Matt was in the band at that time, and we had a great time then. But lately, I've been playing with James in the context of a trio setting, where it would be just piano, James playing harmonica and singing, and a guitar player. And the late Luther Tucker was playing with us for a while, and then we've had other guitar players, including Steve Freund and John Primer.
John, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool, yeah. Tell us a little bit about this band and why you picked these guys to come tonight.
Well, I play with these guys, and I love playing with these guys. We've done some stuff around town with a guitar player, Mike Williams, and we've also kind of have known each other for a while. And, Danny Moe, the bass player, used to be with James Montgomery for 6 years. And right now he plays with Calypso Hurricane. He's a hell of a bass player, and I love his feel.
And he dances. He dances well, too.
And Casey Sherrill, I met just recently through Mike Williams.
Well, he can rumba, David.
Oh, he can rumba, yeah. Well,
now, I hope people in the audience are getting ready to get up and dance.
Yeah. No, Casey's Casey's been around. He's played with John Luke Ponty, Robin Ford, Melissa Manchester, Kitaro.
And you've played with a range of people, too. I think your first road gig was Freddie King.
That's right. My big, serious road gig was with Freddie King. Of course.
How'd that come about?
Well, I've been playing around town, and actually Bob Margolin, the guitarist who later played with Muddy Waters, he and I had a group.
Do you remember the name of it?
The Boston Blues Band.
The Boston
very
Blues Band. The one and only.
We've both been with Lucius, Guitar Junior, but the original Guitar Junior.
Snake Johnson, yeah.
Right, exactly. And then I had played around town with Hooker, and when he was in town, and Big Mama Thornton, Sonny Terry Brown McGee, and Jay Giles and stuff. But Bob and I had this band together, and we decided to go down to the Jazz Workshop to hear Freddie King. It was the first time he was in Boston in 1972. And, as soon as he began playing with the band in full force, we just rose to our feet. The excitement was just so visceral and so, physical that we just heard this, tremendous blues presence. And so I talked to Freddie, and I said, "Hey, Freddie, I play the piano. I'm pretty good." And
which you can say when you're a teenager, you can say anything. Right?
Exactly, sure. And he said, "Well, sit in," because there was a piano at the Jazz Workshop, and very often I used to come down there and bug everybody by trying to play with everybody all the time.
Sure, why not?
How that is.
That's how you get better.
Yeah. And actually, with Muddy Waters, to digress a little bit, at that time, and previous to that time, he had been playing down there as well as at Club 47, and he was very, very accommodating. Otis Spann, whom I mentioned before, was playing piano with him, and he was very encouraging to me, and so I got to sit in with those guys back then. And one time I even did a night there at the jazz workshop with Muddy. I think Spann was sick or something like that, and so he said, "All right, Dave, come on and do it." So anyway, with Freddie, I sat in. He says, "All right, great, you sound good. We were ready to hire some piano player out of New York, but you've got the gig. Somebody will call you with the details and get ready to go on the road in a month." So that was.
And you packed your bag.
Yeah, I packed my bags.
And I was on the road.
Yeah, I was on the road. Yeah.
But you didn't have to bring the piano.
No. We actually, we were really well set up. He was tied in with Shelter Records at that time, and they were doing some pretty big tours with Creedence Clearwater,
yes.
Grand Funk Railroad,
Sure.
and, so we got the grand piano and the whole bit,
Well, great. Dave Maxwell's Blues Wizards right here on 89.7 FM live from Studio One. Dave, would you like to set up the next song for us?
Yeah. Let's see. The next two songs we'll do are called Bopping with the Chippies, Bopping with the Chippies. And that's kind of a feel-good tune and that I composed, and Deep Into It, which is one of those down in the basement, really feeling
down
the
in
blues.
the alleys.
Yeah, down in the alley tunes.
Blues, right here on Blues After Hours.
So we'll do it right here.
And we're here with Dave Maxwell's Blues Wizards live on 89.7 FM. This is WGBH in Boston, Blues After Hours. My name is May Kramer, and David, that was great.
Oh, May, thank you very much.
Did you write that tune?
Yeah, sure I wrote it.
Oh, okay.
You want me to give you the manuscript or what?
Yeah, well, that would be interesting.
I've had some influences along the way.
Well,
That's what blues is,
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Otis Spann as being one of the people that you admired. Who were your other piano heroes?
Well, of course, Sonny Land, Slim.
Great guy.
Yeah, and Big Maceo Merriweather, Ray Charles, me, Lex Lewis, Albert Ammons, Pete Johnson. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. That's just the blues side. I love a lot of jazz musicians as well.
Yeah, who would you recommend for people to listen to for jazz?
Oh, in the jazz area?
Sure.
Oh, there's just so many great musicians. Everybody from Thelonious Monk to Cecil Taylor to Bud Powell to Bill Evans. I just can't even begin to talk about all the wonderful jazz musicians who are around.
Now, if you want to learn to play the piano, if
Yeah.
someone out there wants to learn to play the piano, how should they start?
How should they start?
Yeah.
By not taking lessons.
By listening to music, in other words.
In a way, like for so many people that I've talked to, they say, well, I took lessons when I was a kid, blah, 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 but I never kept it up because the teacher was so-and-so, and I had to do so-and-so, and it's a real drag.
They cut my fingernails when I was a little girl, when I learned piano, and
Yeah.
I thought that was such an indignity. It made me very upset.
Yeah, nobody wants to, be chained to the piano practicing scales and, worried about how their finger is curving and all that kind of stuff, You should have fun. Music is fun, really.
And it's good enough for blues.
Well, I try to take blues to a high creative peak. It isn't just a kind of good enough for blues thing, but it's kind of like, well, there are different techniques to play different kinds of music.
Well, you do have a lot of technique there, it's obvious.
Yeah, there is a blues technique, and part of the blues technique is being deliberately sloppy.
No. I think you're kidding us,
No,
David.
well, it's part of a vocalization, which I try to translate to the fingertip.
I was noticing, I was watching you from the other side of the studio, and you had your feet crossed, your ankles crossed underneath the piano.
Uh-oh.
And I don't think I've ever seen anyone play so much piano but have their ankles crossed.
Uh-oh.
What's the secret, David?
I guess, I don't know. I guess that was a very intimate moment, and I didn't know what to do with I just didn't know what to do with my ankles, so I crossed it.
We're live with our 89.7 Club members. Thank you for coming. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you.
We're live in Studio One. Let me introduce the Blues Wizards. It's Danny Moe on bass, having a good time, and Casey Sherrill on drums, playing some nice drums. Very pretty. What's that technique? Oh, no, you don't have a microphone. Let me just run over here and tell me what that technique was on the drums.
I guess it's wrist technique.
Wrist.
I don't know. A lot of practice. Right?
How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, right?
Yeah, Casey's a wonderful player. And by the way, both of these guys teach at the Berklee School of Music.
Very good. Yeah.
So if you want to take lessons...
And up in the control booth, helping out behind the scenes, Andy Rosenfeld, our co-producer tonight, and Alan Mattis, our sound engineer right here at 89.7. And they're working hard for us. If our audience got here a little early, you saw we were just putting everything together at the very last minute right here on 89.7. And my name is May Kramer, and this is Blues After Hours. We've got one more tune, and then we're going to let the band take a break.
Yeah.
And I'll play some records from the other studio. David.
Okay, we're going to do a little tune. It's blues, but it's blues on a little jazzy side. Bobby Timmons wrote this tune. It's called Dishia. This is, came out about 35 years ago or so.
That's Dave Maxwell's Blues Wizards right here on 89.7 FM. This is WGBH Boston. We're going to play some recorded music for a few minutes, give the band a chance to stretch, give the audience a chance to stretch. I'm going to run up to the other studio, and we'll be back live from Studio 1 in a